All right, hello. So, if you are seeing this, I'm hoping that you first completed uh the daily game for yesterday, in which I asked you guys which side you would prefer, assuming that no random cheeses happened, no random trolling happened in the game, just good, pure League of Legends, both teams playing at a quality level. Who would be expected to win most of the time? Um, Only one person responded, but I kind of want to just get into the habit of making these kind of follow up videos. So I'm gonna do that now. Um, on here we have the blue and red side. If you believed, looking at that draft, by the way, if you believe that it is red side, you would be correct. However, I want to go in depth of why red side really wins, and not too in depth. I mean, you'll be able to see from the runtime how in depth I end up going, but it shouldn't be too in depth. But pretty much, early game is the best time of the game for blue side. This is the only time blue side has to make plays happen. Um, Mid is pretty equal. Syndra has a pretty easier time clearing the wave and moving around the map, but ultimately she doesn't want to leave because Ziggs can threaten tower. So these two are pretty locked into mid lane. And it's pretty hard to gank either of them. Viego, Zyra have issues ganking both of them. Top is pretty equal. I think you're happier playing the Ornn because you're probably not gonna die to the Aatrox. You're not gonna lose the Aatrox and you get the scale. However, Ornn's gonna be getting pressured. So we'll signify that by pushing that up here. So it gives Zyra opportunity to gank Viego, whereas Viego does not have opportunity to play Ornn unless they dive, but diving Ornn isn't that good. And the bot should be pretty equal. Ezreal has general range advantage. However, if Jinx plays around minions better, she can get better poke. So it kind of depends on the skill level of the ADC. However, when played at a high skill level, Ezreal is definitely much happier into Jinx than Jinx is into Ezreal. Ultimately, this is to say there is one clear problem with blue side draft, and that revolves around their ability to engage during a fight. Say, for example, a big dragon fight's going on. So Zyra's already set up her plants around here. Ezreal and Ziggs are kind of like standing up front, like getting ready to like try and find poke. Janna's sitting back, and then Ornn's sitting here. If they are sitting like this, blue side does not have a way to get on red side. Their only means of engage is Syndra QE, which then there's no follow up. Aatrox QE, which then, I mean, like the follow up just is not good, or like Viego stun, but like the first target has to be Ornn. Like Ornn's standing strong. Like unless you found a super creative angle, like it's impossible to get on these guys. So because of that, let me zoom in here just a little bit. Fights end up very awkward. It kind of ends up looking something like this. Viego and Aatrox looking for any angle, while these two just kind of sit around and throw abilities. However, Ezreal Ziggs have just so much better poke. Ornn will sit here, tank whatever damage he needs from all of these people. Ornn, like, will just sit here tanking this damage, while Ziggs and Ezreal are just laying damage into these guys, all while, Janna's helping, Lulu's helping. But it doesn't matter because they can't enter. And as long as they can't enter, Zyra is able to take whatever dragons. This comp specializes at keeping the enemies out of the points. So then the jungler can just take. Zyra is so good at solo clearing objectives. She can just take whatever she wants. Why, however, I generally would say that in solo queue, I would kind of always prefer to play blue side. Up till diamond. Maybe around diamond, I would start favoring red side depending on teammates. The reason I say that is because fights like this only happen when you have communication with one another. You cannot expect your Ornn to be standing here. In solo queue, your Ornn's probably hitting hitting dragon, letting them free enter, so then you guys are more step back like this, and then they're able to just stand right here, 50-50 dragon. But also another issue is a lot of fights happen in the jungles in solo queue. And so that's exactly where blue side wants to fight. Say you are taking the you're taking the jungle space right now. Like Ornn, generally, like, say Ornn's pushing top lane. I'll get him over here. Yeah, so like Ornn is busy pushing top. Aatrox is answering him. So it's a 4v4 over in the blue side jungle. Most of the time in these kind of games, what you'll end up seeing is any small lead from a team, they will just push way too hard. So like Zyra's gonna be trying to take the red buff. Janna's gonna be standing right on her jungler because she's lost in the game and doesn't know what to do. Like Ezreal's gonna be taking the Gromp. Maybe like Ziggs is just like Ziggs is just like on the bot wave right now. What ends up happening is Syndra can find a really good QE, Viego ult over the wall, maybe a Jinx Rocket, Lulu's here. It gives blue team angles to fight without the disengage or the poke being ever allowed to come through. However, of course, that wasn't exactly the question. The question was not when bad players are playing the champion or when there's no communication. Generally, if pros were on these champions, I would expect every single time red side to win unless the team disparity was just too big. Like the bad team was just playing these champs, and the good team was playing blue champs, and then like they probably just roll over and win. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the explanation. I'll maybe do these more often. We'll kind of see what the vibe is, how often people actually engage with the daily games, but I hope that makes sense. It's not too important. I just really like talking about draft. And take that as like a lesson for whatever role you play. Blue side draft, if any of these champions got swapped out for engage, like if Lulu is swapped out for a hook champion like Nautilus, Leona, this draft is instantly 10 times better because they just need something. Because once Leona goes in, Aatrox can follow up, Syndra can follow up, Viego can follow up. They are all follow up, but there's no engaging CC. So just try and keep in mind in draft. Obviously, play to your picks, but in your pool, you should be picking around your pool or designing your pool around these sort of situations. Bye-bye.